This is Let's Talk Business with your host, Marc Ebinger. Now, here's Marc.
Welcome to Let's Talk Business, a show that talks entrepreneurship with some of the best businesses in the San Antonio area. Coming up on the show today, we're going to talk with Dr. Megan Morrison, the owner of Market Ridge Dental, where she practices family and cosmetic dentistry. Dr. Megan, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
It's been a while. So you were here when we were on the radio.
That's right.
Do you remember what month that was? Was that last year?
Yeah, it had been last year. I don't remember what month, but yeah, probably maybe close to a year ago.
Wow, time flies.
I know it.
I'm your host, Marc Ebinger, the owner of Crükus Marketing Agency, a company that specializes in giving small businesses a competitive edge by hiring low-cost virtual administrative specialists from outside the U.S. This is how I have built my entire company. It works extremely well. I had a meeting this morning with my team, and every Monday I'll get on the big calls, right, and catching up on things and what's going on. You're a boss. I mean, you know what it's like, right, to run a team. And it's a lot of fun.
It is.
How many people on your team?
There's 5 of us, including me. So I have myself. My mom runs my office. She does all the administrative, all the insurance. She runs the show. I have 1 hygienist and 2 assistants.
Okay. It's like, who's the mother hen of the office? Is that your mom or is that you?
Oh, man. It's probably her. Probably her.
So Almira does that for me. She's just kind of the one that keeps everybody corralled
That's
and all this stuff.
Yeah, she's great.
A quick reminder for our listeners, you can catch video and podcast versions of the show anytime by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. And if you're a business owner in the San Antonio area and would like to have your company featured on the show, visit our website at satalkradio.com or call our office at 210-879-8804. That's 210-879-8804, and we will get you hooked up. So, Dr. Megan, of course, I do my research when people are coming on the show. You guys are over 2,100 followers now on Instagram. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
That's not easy.
It's not. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
People who have 190,000 followers, I'm like, how did you? I guess there's a synergistic point where it just goes.
Right.
But it's not there. I'm about 780 or something like that.
Okay.
On my Instagram followers now, but it's a push, and I put out a ton of content.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, actively engaging in the community and making sure that you're interacting with your followers, and it takes a lot of
Tagging
time and
all of that.
Yeah.
And you guys, and I did check because it's of interest to me, and you guys are tagging, and you've got great content. People get a good feel for you as a person.
Yeah.
A little bit there too, plus the professionalism and the services. So it's a great mix of everything. Are you using guides yet on Instagram?
Guides?
Guides.
I'm not familiar with what that is. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so guides are it's like a mini blog on it. And it's once you start it from a post, then it actually pops up on your home profile page.
Okay.
As it looks like a little folded book kind of a thing. And then it's like I have, I think 6 of them or something like that now on there where you can, and then go learn. So you could have like the all about, kind of a flow mini blog on Invisalign, for example, because I know that's one of the things you guys do there.
Yeah.
So and then you could have a call to action in there somewhere too.
That's awesome. I'll have
something
to
to look at.
Yeah, very cool. Thanks for the heads up. I'll go check that out.
And then Google, you guys got 267 was the count that I saw, 5-star Google reviews. That can't be easy to get all 5 stars when you're in the triple digits like that. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really proud of what we do and how we treat patients, and I think that's really reflected well in our reviews, and we're really proud of that.
Now, from a business standpoint, do you guys have that as part of your process where you're asking for the Google reviews?
Yeah, so it is automated into our software. We have it's an automated text that goes out. I think it's around 7 o'clock at night every day, unless we set it not to do that for a particular patient. But otherwise, it goes out to everybody, and it just asks them, hey, thanks for coming in. We hope you had a great visit. Please leave us a review. And so it just asks for it. And most people are really happy to do that, and we found it really effective in terms of people finding us through the reviews. And we ask everybody who comes in, how did you find us? And a lot of people say that, we found you through Google and your reviews, so it really does help a ton.
So are you asking for other reviews besides Google? Are you asking for Facebook or any of that too?
Right now, we've kind of just focused on Google. So we're only 2 years into business. We really wanted to push Google hard. That's where most people find anything that they're looking for is Google. So we're pushing Google hard now, but once we hit a certain point, we may pivot and try to focus more on Facebook. Or really, that's probably the 2 that we'll focus on is probably Facebook and Google.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So some of the services you guys provide, like general dentistry, dental veneers. What's a veneer?
So a veneer is similar to a crown. It's porcelain, but instead of going all the way around the tooth, it just is like a facing on the front of the tooth. So it requires a lot less tooth removal, and it's a lot more conservative. But in terms of like comparing that to, usually the alternative is going to be like a filling, basically. It wears a lot better, so it's not going to stain, it's not going to chip, kind of like a composite filling would over time. It just lasts a lot longer.
That was my next question, is how long do you think, and of course it probably depends on where the tooth is, correct? Because some teeth are used more than other teeth, but on average, how long do they last?
Yeah, so a good average lifespan is going to be about 10 to 15 years. And I always tell my patients, it doesn't have a shelf life, it doesn't expire on a certain date. That's just the average that most people are going to have until they get either a cavity around it or something breaks. So, but typically it's going to be more often or not that they get a cavity around it.
Got it. So dentures, crowns, bridges, sedation dentistry. What's sedation dentistry?
Yeah, so sedation dentistry has a lot of different facets and a lot of different options. And I always make sure that I talk with my patient to decide, with them what the best option for them is. We can do anything from, I have a lot of options, but we have the TVs on the ceilings. That's a form, of calming the nerves, right? It takes your mind off of the work. But we have laughing gas. We can do pill sedation, where I prescribe a prescription that you take about an hour before. Or I actually have a doctor that can come in the office and place an IV and do IV sedation. So you take a nice nap, you wake up, and your work is done. So there's a lot of different options to help. I know dentistry is fearful for a lot of people.
So tell me about the pill version of it. I'm curious here. So how would somebody know that it's okay for them to choose that option? And then how does that option actually work?
Yeah, so that's something that I discuss per patient. So I kind of describe what each option feels like for them, and it's kind of a decision that we make together. If you're a little bit nervous, I describe my laughing gas as like you've had 2 or 3 margaritas. So it just takes a little bit of the edge off. You're not going to fall asleep. You're not going to say or do anything you don't want to say or do. It just takes a little bit of that edge off. I have 2 options that I typically prescribe for pill sedation. I do Xanax, which most people are pretty familiar with. Again, just kind of lowering that anxiety level. Halcyon is a little on the higher end of what I prescribe for pill sedation. So I describe to my patients how with Halcyon, you're going to come in, you'll feel a little bit sleepy, but you're going to tell me, I don't feel that different. I feel pretty normal. I'm awake, other than being a little bit sleepy. But afterwards, after the procedure, you're not going to remember pretty much anything. It's going to be pretty much blank, and you're going to sleep the rest of the day. So it's pretty good, especially for those patients who are very fearful. That's a really great option. Yeah.
Cool. So it's actually being completely knocked out. That's going to be the IV then.
Right. That's going to be the IV. If you want to be taking a nap and not be aware at all, that's going to be the IV. Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's nice to have options.
It is.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Invisalign, that's actually, Brooke is doing that.
Awesome.
So that's another thing that you guys are doing there, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Deal, as long as the kids can kind of stay on the...
That's right. And that's why I always talk with patients, or parents too, of the patients of teenagers. Like, your kid better than I do. So if they're going to wear it, then it's an awesome option. If they're not as responsible of a teenager, then braces might be a better option. But it's a fantastic treatment.
And then also tooth extractions. Did I miss anything on your key services?
No, I think that really kind of is the main thing. We do a little bit of everything. I do the easier root canals. I'll do surgical extractions. We do a little bit of everything. I believe in a team approach. If it's something that I feel is more complex and better treated with a specialist, I refer out to the specialist. If it's something that I know that I have the training for and I'm going to provide a really great quality service, then I'll do it in-house. But I believe in providing the best quality care, whether that's me or the specialist, but just making sure that the patient gets the best care.
Roger that. All right, so of course, when I was doing my research, I found a review that you guys recently had. So a patient named Andrew mentions the outstanding service his family received, highlighting the clinic's ability to make his children feel at ease and the provision of entertainment like Netflix during the appointment. That really speaks to that, customer-centered approach to what you guys do over there.
Yeah, that's exactly it for us. I think the big difference with us is how we make a conscious effort of trying to make the patients feel at ease and at home, and that they're not judged. I know that's a really big fear of a lot of people coming into the dental offices, that we're going to judge them. Maybe it's been a while, or that they've neglected their health in terms of their mouth. But we make a really concerted effort to make sure that they know that we're not judging them, and that we are here to help and make them feel like they're part of our family, and that they know that we're happy that they're there, because if they're not there, we don't have a job. So we're very grateful for everybody that comes in, and we want to make sure that they know that.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. There's maybe the fear of, the pain that might be associated with everything that's happened, but then also I'm dirty or I'm
Yeah,
bad or I'm
right.
poor or I'm whatever, right?
Yeah. It's a lot of
that.
shame. A lot of shame and guilt and a lot of really bad past dental experiences. And it's a lot to overcome for them. And I always make sure that I tell them, I'm really proud of you for being here. It's a really great first step. It's a lot to overcome just to make the appointment and walk in the door. So it's really important that I let them know that and that we make them feel good about that choice.
And let them know that good things are coming. Right.
Yeah. And then it doesn't have to be bad, and it's not going to be bad, and it can be better.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So your office is running a pretty big giveaway right now in October, November.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah. So we are doing a $500 HEB gift card giveaway. So we have a really funny cutout it's actually of me, but it says, ask me about our giveaway. So there's 3 ways to enter. You can schedule your new patient exam and cleaning and come in through the months of October or November. If you refer somebody that comes in for their new patient appointment, that gets you entered as well. Or you can take a picture with the cutout and post it and tag us, and that is also another way to enter.
Okay, so how many of those are you giving away? One?
We're giving away one.
And how many entries do you think you'll get?
I don't know. I'm hoping for a lot. But we just started it. I just posted about it Friday, so it's brand new, but we're excited.
She set a goal like, all right, if we reach 1,000 entries, then we'll add another card.
Oh, I like that. Okay, right? I'm open to that. Yeah, all the entries. We'll add them.
That's another reason to let everybody know, hey, we just added another. Blah, blah, blah.
I like it. I'm open.
And not only that, but it could motivate somebody to actually push towards telling other people about it. Because like, wait a minute, I don't know if I want to tell anybody about it because I don't want a competition. But
hey, that's true. We'll add more. I love it.
So I know you've been on the show before, but really what inspired you to pursue dentistry? Where did that come from? Was that like a kid thing, or did you see a television show? You're like, I want to do that. What inspired you?
Yeah, we actually I always want to do healthcare. I have a lot of family members that are in healthcare. I just didn't know specifically what. And then we had a healthcare fair in high school, in my junior year of high school, and there was some people that were in the dental field there, and they had dental materials that we got to play with and touch, and that's what piqued my interest, and I ran with it. And for me, it's just really the perfect kind of mix of science and art. I get to make little art projects in people's mouth every day. Mm-hmm. It's just really, it's fun for me. It's fun to get to turn those experiences, like I mentioned, for people who've had bad dental experiences and turn those into positive experiences. I just really enjoy what I do.
Cool. And what's the, 5 years from now, what are you looking to actually, do you like what you have? You keep what you have, or are you looking to grow?
Yeah, no, I really think filling out the space, I built it big enough to where there is room for growth inside of the space that I have now. But my goal and my vision and my dream is to have one office and run that office to its capacity and run it well and have it be successful. But I'm not one to want multiple locations, and I just want my small practice and my family and have that there and have that be successful. That's my dream.
You're not looking to take over the dental world?
No.
You just want to do your
just
part,
my own
right?
building. Just do my part. That's right.
So when it comes to strategies, obviously you're a business owner.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to market. What are you doing in that space?
Yeah. So we do a lot of different things. We do a lot of ground level marketing efforts. So we'll do things like we'll make packages of cookies or little goodies, and we'll put stickers on it that says, enjoy this sweet treat from Dr. Megan Morrison. I'll have our information on it, and we'll go take those to small businesses around us. So we go talk to businesses in our community and have that face-to-face interaction. My social media, so I'm as much as I can, I try to post pretty actively on our social media accounts, which is it's free marketing. And I think if you're not doing social media marketing, you really should. I know that's scary for a lot of people to put themselves out there in that regard, but you can put as much or as little of yourself out there as you want to. But it's a free magazine for your company, so I try to stick up with that a lot. I'm also working with Alpha Media, actually, and they're doing digital campaigns, so they're kind of targeting different areas or different people that we want to target for different ad campaigns and mobile pushing to the ads to their devices. So that's really the 3 main things that we're doing now.
Slick.
Yeah.
And of course, Google, you guys are doing pretty good there. Are you doing any optimization for Google, like SEO type stuff through the website or whatever?
Yeah. So my cousin actually does that for me. He does SEO as a living, as a profession, and so he threw me a bone and he does that for me for free. But very thankful for that. Yeah, absolutely. Free marketing is the best marketing. But he does it really successfully and really well, and we've really noticed a big jump in people just organically finding us through Google once he took that over. So very thankful for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
All All right, so running a dental practice, do you have a personal life or no? Is it pretty much just work, work, work?
No, I do have a personal life. I think for me, that's super important, work-life balance. I am not the person that I'm working on my business all the time. If I'm in my business, I'm working in and on my business. But if I'm home, I'm spending that time with my husband and our 3 dogs. And I know you mentioned earlier you love video games. We love video games. We play video games all the time.
All right, so what are you playing? I got to ask.
We're playing Remnant 2 right now, computer game.
Remnant 2. Is that a first-person shooter? Is it a MMO? What is it?
Third-person shooter, but yeah, it's
third person.
Yeah, so yeah, it's a shooter game, but
I like those.
Yeah, it is fun. So you're going through the different worlds and collecting the gear, and
doing all the things.
Doing all the things.
But is it multiplayer? Like, can you play with people all over the place as well, or is it pretty much? Is it like a perpetual? Let me ask that, or is it like there's a beginning and an end? Is it open world?
It's a little bit mixed. It's a little bit open world, so you can take your character and you could restart the game and you'd actually have a different set of bosses or different fights or different worlds that you'd get into. Okay. But each time you play it is a little bit linear. Does that make sense?
Yep.
But each time you play it is a little bit different. But we play online co-op, so we just play the 2 of us together.
Cool. Is there different roles you guys have in the game? Like
you
in
can play
an
different. Yeah.
So what's your role?
I'm the healer.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I was wondering.
The healer.
So he's the assault, he's the tank, he's the DPS, right?
Exactly.
And you're the healer and support, right?
That's right.
Well, is it like swords and magic, or is it like weapons, like machine guns and stuff?
Guns. Yeah.
That's guns.
Yeah, it's guns and magic is really the 2. Yeah.
Oh, there's magic and guns.
Yeah.
I
always like magic.
I'm sure I've run across that game. Anyway, just a little side deal there.
Yeah,
but that's good to have a little bit of. How long have you guys been doing that together, playing games together?
Really, the whole time we've been together. We both actually grew up playing video games with our dads, each of our dads. So we've always played video games, and it's something we individually enjoyed doing, and we enjoy doing it together. We've decided playing together is really better for our marriage than playing against each other.
Oh, there you go, supportive.
Yeah, exactly. But we have a really good time doing that. It's something fun, and it kind of takes your mind off of everything else, and kind of nonsensical, but we enjoy it.
Are you competitive?
I am competitive, yeah. I am.
Hey, do you know about the personality color tests? Are you familiar with those?
I've taken a bunch of them. I don't know that I've done the color one.
It's like like red, for example, is like very driven. The DISC test, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so and I'm just learning the DISC or whatever. But anyway, the personality colors are super important in a marriage. So I've been married 35 years now.
Yeah.
It's important to kind of know why your spouse acts a certain way, or employees the same way.
Right.
We have all of our employees take the DISC test, and then also we just talked about the personality color test this morning, and for them to put it on their profile, so we can see. It's just how do we communicate?
Right. Exactly.
In a way I'm going to be heard, and you're going to be heard. Right.
And be understood. Yeah, it's extremely important, and I think we're working through that together with each other, and I make sure we're working on that as a team at work as well. And it's really important, and I think often overlooked skill for people to have. It's really important.
Yeah. And so in your workplace, do you guys take the DISC test? Do you know their personalities, I guess would be the main point.
Yeah. You know what? I think we took that probably about a year ago. We should probably do it again. If you take it again, sometimes it does.
It does.
And it's funny. So my mom and I took I think it was, I don't know if it was the DISC, but it was one of the personality tests. And I think it was when I was in dental school, we both took it, and we got the exact same thing. I think it was the executive, whatever that one was. We retook it maybe a year ago, and we both changed, but it was exactly the same again.
Oh.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, you guys are around each other way too much.
I know. Apparently we are. Apparently we are. We need some time apart, I guess. No.
All right. So when it comes to challenges in running your business, what are some challenges you've faced in that?
Yeah. Well, so I'm a startup practice. I'm a startup business. So we started ground up. I built out a space that was 4 walls and concrete. Had to build out the patient base. So we're a brand new business, like any other business, starting 2 years in. So, the money you collect grows, but so does your bills grow, and kind of figuring out how to make that space between the two bigger, right, to be more profitable. But really, that's a challenge. I think staffing is a huge challenge for everybody right now, finding good staff. I'm very fortunate that I have a really amazing team right now. Took us a little bit of time to get there, but they're amazing right now, and I couldn't be happier or speak more highly of them. I think just getting the name out there and marketing and advertising. Gone are the days where build it and they will come, hang your shingle, and you have patients lining out the door. That's just not the world we live in. There's a dental office on every single corner. You throw a rock and you're going to hit one. And so just, getting your name out there and articulating what it is that makes you different, and making a conscious effort to be different. So it's all challenging. And really just maintaining your own inner peace too while you're doing all of that, right? I think that's a challenge as well, and finding those boundaries and that home life balance. It's all a challenge, but it's a fun one too.
There's got to be lots of like on there's the customer experience, then there's the office experience,
Right.
and then there's the billing experience, right?
Yeah.
So billing is its own. When it comes to healthcare, it's a whole thing.
Yeah. And
How much does
especially in dental.
healthcare and all of that red tape and nonsense, how much does that affect your office?
Yeah, I mean, dental is a very interesting beast because it's not, I'm sure everybody knows, medical insurance and dental insurance are totally separate things. The amount that dental insurance coverage, like the annual maximums, most people are about $1,500 or $2,000. That hasn't changed since about the 70s or the 80s. So
wow.
a very long time, but that maximum hasn't gone up. But obviously prices have gone up, so the amount that's covering is very little. So it's a huge barrier for a lot of people in receiving care and getting care, or even making the appointment because they're just assuming it's going to be too expensive. So it's a really hard thing for a lot of people, and it's hard for us too. I'm in the camp too. I wish dentistry was a part of healthcare, and I wish it was free for everybody. I don't think it should be a commodity. It's just a sad reality of the way things are. But, we do try to offer financing options to help people afford their care and try to work with people to make sure that they can get it taken care of. It is a struggle because, we are a business, and unfortunately that is the reality. I wish I could do it all for free, but I can't. And it's tough. Yeah.
So if I had to point to one thing where you guys really excel, like that unique selling proposition, right? It's like, why come to you?
Yeah.
What would that be?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think it's the way that we make people feel. I think we make people feel good about dentistry. I think we make people feel like they're family. I think we make people feel just at home and welcome. I really try to, my whole staff does, take the time to get to know people about your family and where you're from and what your interests are, and also what's important to you in your dental health care. I think that differs from person to person. You may smile, you may say that you want your $1 million smile and you want it to be as beautiful as you can, and the person next to you, they just want it to function well. And so I think it's important that I listen and understand those things so that I can provide that care that is important to you and meaningful for you, because I don't think that's the same person to person.
Gotcha. So when it comes to preventive dentistry,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so I think it's super important. I think people have a perception that when you come into my office, I want you to have all these cavities so that I have all this work to do. That's just not the case. I really would rather that you take care of your teeth at home, and you're brushing and you're flossing, and you're doing all the things, so you come in and you have nothing going on at all. That makes me happy. I would rather see that. I'm cheering for you to have no cavities when you come in. So really, it's super important. And there's a lot of options that people don't know about. There's some really cool new products out there these days that I think a lot of people aren't aware of, like SDF for one. It's silver diamine fluoride. It's really awesome for little early cavities that haven't cavitated through the enamel, meaning there's not a hole in that outer layer of the tooth yet, but it's showing signs of early decay. We can put this little SDF or silver diamine fluoride onto that tooth, and it actually stops or arrests that decay completely. So it's super cool. But that does require that you're coming in frequently and getting things checked and not letting things get big, because if that hole forms in the tooth, that's not an option anymore. But there are a lot of options like that we can do and help maintain the health of your teeth so that you have them into your 90s and your 100s.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I think my father-in-law and my mother-in-law both had, I think it was either all of them or most of them. And it's like, I'd rather not have to do that if I didn't.
Yeah, and I think, we were talking earlier about energy drinks and kids and long-term effects. And, that's what I see is people don't understand how much it affects their quality of life to not have functioning teeth, or to have no teeth. You can't eat right, you can't speak right. It even affects, when you sleep and you're breathing and sleep apnea, it affects everything. And just to watch denture patients and how tough that is to go through that transition. It's a prosthetic. It's like getting a hand cut off and having a prosthetic hand. It's having to learn how to do things again in a different way. It's never going to be the same. It's never going to be as good. So just trying to convey that to people of take care of things and stay with it, even if you don't love doing it. But you're going to see me one way or the other. We're either going to see me to take care of it and prevent things, or you're going to see me when it's hurting and it's a problem. So let's prevent things.
So are there any specific tools or technologies that your office has adopted recently?
Yeah, so we have a lot of cool technology at my office. I love technology. I'm a big gamer. It flows into the office as well. But we do have a 3D, we're actually getting a 3D printer so we can print crowns, or a mill is more accurate. But I do have a 3D printer as well. But we're getting a mill so we can same day make crowns in our office. That's coming in probably a week or two. I have a digital scanner, so we don't have to take the goopy impressions of your mouth. We have this one, it's a camera, it takes digital pictures and stitches them together to make a 3D model of your teeth. So I do that with virtually all of my impressions, except for removable a little bit. But pretty much all of my impressions are taken digitally, and we can do everything in the digital workflow. So I know a lot of people, I hate the goopy impression material. I don't like it any more than anybody else does. It's gross. So yeah, we have a lot of really cool technology.
Any tech out there that you really want but just can't quite get yet?
Oh, gosh. Probably a 3D x-ray machine. That's probably next on my list, but those are very expensive.
How much are they?
Upwards of $100,000. So,
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
maybe one day.
That's like a month spending on Amazon. Everybody's spent. All right. So have you ever heard the term dental tourism?
I bet I could guess what that means, but no.
So it's where people are like, they're going overseas.
Oh, yeah.
To go on vacation, but then to also get some dental work done because of the perceived, less cost, stuff like that. I'm always leery of doing something like that. And I love saving money like everybody else does.
Right.
But there's a couple things jump out to me really, really quick that could be problematic. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on, you haven't done any research on this, I wouldn't think. But, I mean, just as a dentist, if somebody's going to go to a foreign country, right, and they're going to get work done, what would you caution about that?
Yeah, it's a really tough subject. I think there's good and bad dentists in America, and there's good and bad dentists probably everywhere else, right? I have definitely seen some very questionable dentistry coming back from other countries. But I've also seen dentistry that's not bad too. So I'm not going to say a blanket statement that don't get dentistry done anywhere besides the United States or it's going to be awful. I don't think that's true. But I do think it's important to do your research on anybody that you're going to and know what it is you're getting. The thing that scares me, I think, is some of those cases that I've seen, because I have seen some, I'm on TikTok too. I've seen some of the TikTok touristy dental whatever cases come back. And they're doing some really aggressive dentistry. I know you asked me about veneers earlier, and people have made comments like, oh, I got veneers, when in reality, they got full coverage crown props of their teeth.
Oh, so they don't know exactly what they're getting. They're taking the word for it.
Right. So they're getting much more aggressive dentistry done, and I don't think they're even aware that that's happening. And the thing that worries me about that is that when you're removing that much tooth structure, a lot of people, if they don't have their if they're cavity prone, if those teeth are getting cavities in the next 5 or 10 years, most likely they're going to end up losing those teeth in the next 20 to 30, because every time they get a cavity, they're losing more tooth structure, and they removed so much to do each and every tooth as a crown prep. So it really worries me about them keeping their teeth in the long term, in the long haul. It's just very aggressive dentistry. So I think just doing your research on who you're seeing and the actual procedure that you're getting is super important.
I think something that stood out for me was like the recovery process. First, it's like there's going to be a recovery process after you get the work done, but then also follow up. So what if there's issues?
Yeah.
Well, are you going to fly back to Europe to get those done? I mean,
that concerns me as well. And are you going to be able to find somebody here in the States that's willing to address those issues on somebody else's work, right? Or are you going to have to pay to have all of it redone if there are issues? Because I have definitely seen some work that is either overly aggressive or it's causing more problems than it's solving in the long term. Exactly. So it is kind of scary.
So how you guys are involved in the community a bit, I
Yeah.
would imagine. So how are you guys involved? What's going on?
Yeah, so we have been since we opened. We actually donate for every new patient that we see to the Children's Bereavement Center, which is an amazing organization that provides grief counseling for kids in the community who have lost loved ones or relatives or friends. And they provide grief counseling in individual settings and group settings, and they're just an amazing organization that provides that support to the community. So for every new patient that we see, we donate back to them.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Cool. So if you got an aspiring dentist out there that's looking to start their own practice, what would be give me 2 things you would recommend?
So have a plan. I think that's really super important. Do your research, make sure you know what it is that you're getting into. I hired a consulting company to help me through because I was working a full-time job 8 to 5 Monday through Friday while I was opening my business. So that was hugely successful and helpful for me. It was Ideal Practices was who I used, but that made a big difference for me, and they were able to kind of guide me. But that's not to say you can't do it yourself. Just make sure that you do the research and have a really thorough plan. And even think about the things like, what do you want to be known for, and how do you want to be known in the community and represented, and think about that reputation that you want to build and kind of work backwards from there, and kind of make everything of your practice towards those goals. I think the other thing is in any startup business, really just make sure that you have enough personal funds reserved and set aside, because you really don't know, and it's hard to predict, when you're going to be able to start paying yourself out of your business, and just making sure that you have that personal reserve set aside to cover your own bills.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Anything we missed that you want to get out there before we wrap up?
Oh, gosh. No, I feel like we've hit a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You tell me what's new with you.
So virtual assistant staffing is
Yeah.
something that I'm very, very involved in. I love it. My wife actually helps me with the business now.
Yeah,
She
tell me
loves
more.
it too, because it's a way to get expert help, but
Super
at
cool.
a lower cost.
Yeah.
If the work can be done remotely, right?
That's awesome.
And then but it's a lot of the same things. It's developing those relationships with those
Yeah.
folks, but it's making time to do that as well. So, it's not okay, I've got a VA and then that's it, right?
Yeah.
They're off doing, it's like they got to feel plugged in and do all. So I'm learning all of that. But so I've got my couple of telemarketers that work for me full time,
Cool.
and they're looking to start reaching out to chiropractic offices,
Cool.
right? I had heard that's what it was. I was like, what was the one industry?
Yeah.
But anyways, it was chiropractic. Anyway, the idea is that as much that can be done
Sure.
remotely is being done to cut the cost, because it's not just the hourly rate, right? It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I could ask you like an average hourly rate for staff in a dental office. Do you have an idea what that
Yeah,
would be?
it really depends on the position. So like front office or assistant's going to be 20 to 25. My hygienist is more in the 40 range. So it kind of just depends what staff member we're talking about.
Yeah, you definitely couldn't replace the dental hygienist. Let me do that
Right.
remotely with I
Yeah,
don't even know how
certainly
that
not.
would work, right?
Yeah.
It's probably getting there, though. I think I have seen some remote
Hey.
surgery stuff being done. But at any rate, but yeah, so even at $20 an hour, right, for something that can be done, or at least augmented,
Yeah.
virtually
Super
at
cool.
say $8.50 an hour with no benefits, none of that weird red tape and stuff like that, because it's really, the taxes are completely different. You don't W-2, you don't 1099. It's just a
Gotcha.
completely different animal.
Yeah.
So it's super powerful, and the reason why I love it,
Yeah.
and I didn't even start a business with that in mind. I was like, I fell into it.
Cool.
And I'm like, oh, this is awesome
Yeah.
to be able to leverage it out there.
Yeah.
So just give me an idea. In a dental office, what
Yeah.
would be areas in there? This would be super helpful for me.
Sure.
What areas would be good fits for virtual assistant staffing?
Yeah. So I think anything to do with marketing that could be done remotely. So
Sure.
a lot of marketing
Social
efforts
media.
or social media, right? That could be done remotely. I would think that calling on insurances, like verifying insurances or benefits, I'm sure could probably be done remotely. Or even probably billing and claims could probably be done remotely if you had the right training or the right person. I think could all be done remotely.
Oh, those are great. Because are those full-time jobs, or is it like one person do all of that? Or
Right now in my office, my mom does most of the things that I just mentioned in terms of
Okay.
insurance verification and billing and stuff. I'm more the social media person, so it does interest me to potentially have somebody to kind of help take over or at least help with the social media aspect. That's very intriguing.
Yeah. So if one person could do all of that, I don't know if that's too diverse for a person, but because you get into graphic design plus titles, descriptions, tagging, all of those things. There is an art form to that. You know what I mean?
There is, for sure.
All right, cool. So, all right, that's very, very helpful for me and for my audience as well. That's looking for it. All right, as we wrap up the show, quick reminder to check out our latest podcast or on our website. It's there if you guys are watching the video. Have you met any of my co-hosts yet?
Yeah, I did. I met your business. Remind me of her name.
Heather?
Heather. I met Heather at the last show that I did. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
I liked her a lot.
Howie's he's a lot of fun, too. And then I've got a third one, Genevieve Sims. Do you know her?
No.
See, these are all master networkers.
Awesome.
So these are people that it's good to know them because they're good connectors.
Very cool.
And we're going to be I'm trying to put together a mixer.
Cool.
Once a quarter where it's everybody who's been on the show, plus they can invite people or whatever. But it's something to invite people to.
Yeah, I love that.
Our first one, we're going to try and shoot for January, and I'm thinking we can get at least 100 people there.
Cool.
You know, drinks and, you know, it's just a good connections, stuff like that. So we'll make sure you get an invite to that.
I'd love to go.
All right. So once again, as we wrap up the show, quick reminder, check out our latest podcast or catch video versions of the show, which is the only way to do podcasting, by visiting our website at satalkradio.com. That's going to be it for us. Thanks for coming in on short notice, Dr. Megan. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
A lot of fun having you as always.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care.